What if you knew a truth about someone that harbored dangers of such magnitude that it could be the key to future human survival? And now, what if that someone happened to be the President of the United States? And what if you were expected to keep your mouth shut about it?
Who the hell is Bandy Lee? Why the hell do we care what Bandy Lee has to say? She's a Yale professor. That's strike number one. But nobody knows anything about her. She's part of a cabal with the Democrats. Who the hell is she?
Yale University psychiatrist Dr. Bandy X. Lee met with 11 Democratic lawmakers and told them that President Trump is mentally unfit for office.
Congressman Jamie Raskin of Maryland. Congressman, thanks so much for being here. You and several of your Democratic House colleagues met with a psychiatry professor from Yale, Dr. Bandy Lee. She told CNN today, quote, "As the president is unraveling, he seems to be losing his grip on reality and reverting to conspiracy theories." Did she say that to the assembled congresspeople?
This is a Soviet-style attack on the President of the United States. These are the tactics in what is absolutely an effort at a coup, a silent coup.
This week's chaos in the Trump administration is by now unsurprising and was, in effect, predicted by the new book, The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump. 27 psychiatrists and mental health experts assess a president, edited by Bandy Lee, MD, a psychiatrist. I know a year ago, it was very difficult for me to find a psychiatrist who was willing to come on television and talk about Donald Trump, because the general rule was, it's a patient I haven't diagnosed, so how can I talk about it?
I had organized a conference to speak about the ethics of the duty to warn versus the duty to refrain from commenting on public figures. Initially, it was very hard to get any co-signatories to the letters I was writing, or to get any co-organizers for the conference. But after the conference, hundreds of mental health professionals got in touch with me, expressing their same concern.
This is an historic work in the history of American psychiatry. We have never been in this place before. Thank you both very much.
But do you think it's fair to question the sort of the competency and the mental health of the sitting president of the United States?
We wouldn't be speaking out if it were very serious. As an expert on violence, I can tell you that previous violence shows an indication for possible future violence.
Look, all of these stories are covered in the moment, individually, by reporters. News outlets use words there like erratic, volatile, unstable, but rarely are Trump's words and actions covered as a whole. Rarely do news outlets take it to that next level. Because assessing dangerousness is more about the situation than about the person. He is definitely in a situation where more of this could come and actually could escalate. We can't tiptoe around it anymore. We've got to talk about this. You have been trying to sound an alarm about the president's fitness. Has the press been listening to what you and your colleagues have been saying?
Not at all. Mental pathology is defined by destructiveness, whether one is destructive toward oneself or against others. It is something we need to treat and address.
One crucial contribution that mental health professionals can make is to distinguish between what is normal and what is malignantly not.
Dr. Bandy Lee saw it coming, the violence foretold in Donald Trump's election. She was ahead of the curve. Way ahead. Bandy Lee had stirred the hornet's nest, and the hornets came in swarms.
Dr. Bandy Lee warns Trump is going to get worse, and it will become uncontainable.
The love in the air, I've never seen anything like it.
Peter, I was one of those people who bought the book by a bunch of psychiatrists in 2017 called The Dangerous Case of Donald Trump, all about his apparent mental health issues. But from your book, we learned that John Kelly, Trump's own White House chief of staff, also bought the book to read and thought it was a helpful guide to a boss who he came to consider as a pathological liar. Donald J. Trump has been a very loud, some might say too loud, part of our political scene for over 7 years now. And yet, I would argue that we as a political culture, as a media industry, as an American public, as a country, we still end up normalizing him.
What a great
Welcome to our conference event by the title, The Dangerous State of the World and the Need for Fit Leadership. Sponsored by the World Mental Health Coalition.
Mr. Vice President, the President is unable to discharge the powers and duties of office